As a kid, I was exposed to stage plays. I became a Filipino Peter Pan. So I think that was my first exposure on the arts. The videos came in, and then I got interested. And then every summer, I work with meron video store, yung my aunt in Cebu. So I would work there. And then I would watch all the movies, even the basketball games, because cable was not yet available. So everything that I could watch on video. And then I became interested actually in video and sound, because I like music, and because of my father loves to play those vinyls. So, but I experimented on the vinyls, no? I would turn them back and then do some scratching or do whatever, change the speed and get some really interesting sound coming from it. And then college came, and then I was exposed to some friends who were into the communications department. And then sila Eric, Mati, some of the guys now that we're working with. And then we would produce plays. I would help them produce their commercials for their school projects. I got actually tired of watching films that have the same structure. Later on, I wanted to watch films that are not really interesting anymore, because I was actually curious if why are these films don't get the box office. And I would watch them, and the more I watched them, it became it was interesting for me, because they had a different way of telling the story, but still the same structure. So I experimented on using the videoke, using the My Way videoke, and then shot the embalming process and then merge them. I didn't know what I was doing, actually. I didn't realize that what I was doing was actually a form of video art. I was not actually planning of doing something, but I really like, trying to show or share an experience that I have. But there were books available already, and then I knew about experimental film. But that was more on experimenting on the material, no? But there was no market. That was a big problem for me, because I was just spending and spending, and then renting sometimes equipment that are expensive for me. And later on I realized that I think I have to stop this. I think I'm just masturbating myself so that I can be happy, and people would appreciate it, but when you go home and then you don't have money in your pocket, and sometimes you have to think, okay, I think this is just, I have to look for other ways of earning and continue. But the question was, do I have to do this? Really? I think later on I realized that what is important is not really the medium. I think what is important is the subject, and how the artist actually understands it, and how that subject actually relates to the whole world and the present situation. So, and then until now, that's how I process things, no? And maybe also my economics background helped me also, because economics is such a you have to analyze things in a micro level and a macro level, and of course the global level. So in a personal level, that can be converted into like a micro level, and then of course how your work actually affects, or how do you see your subject in the global scale, no? Maybe the I think it's more of the subject that affects me, and then also the medium that contradicts itself, because like one of my works actually, I shot in my iPhone, and it's iPhones are this my phone is not a high resolution, but I think the moment that you're there and then you're shooting something, and it doesn't really matter on what resolution, on what equipment do you have, but actually the subject and the medium that you're using at the moment is actually very important, and that defines the work. Well, I think the advantages, no, of new media, well, it's not new anymore, but I think the flexibility. I think it has the flexibility of like for example transport. Me, all I have to do is just send online, and then the exhibition is there. The curators I can actually have simultaneous exhibitions around the world, no, without actually sending the same painting all over. So that's the advantage, no. But at the same time also, it's very challenging because the medium is available to everyone, and then some people would experiment and play, and then ang ganda nito, pwede nito ma-exhibit without really doing some research or thinking about the subject that they actually shoot. Like movies, movies can be pirated also, music at the same time. So that's the challenge also for the artist. Actually, not for the artist, but actually more for the galleries, or madali siya ma-transfer, no, pag ma-copy. So ang isa naman is I think it still has more, the medium has more latitude in terms of if you can use sound, visuals, you can actually create something big, even the whole building you can actually use as a canvas for your work, but also it's expensive. So it's the same thing, same thing with sculptures or paintings. Also at the same time, there is a resistance on the senior artists, that are not exposed. So I respect their opinions, and sometimes they just tell me hindi yan. And yung isang ko na-hurt talaga ako, one senior artist told me, "What you're doing is not art." Sabi ko, "Why did you say that?" "Well, I don't know, basta it's not art." Dati pa to So actually I took it as talaga? Okay. No. Okay. So, well, let's see. Maybe I agree with you, but I still love doing this, so I'll just do it. So, ngayon, nagkikita kami, hindi ko lang sinasabihan. Hindi ko lang siya sinasabihan na, alala mo ba, sinasabihan mo ako na ganito. Kasi ngayon, also, at the same time, I think the challenge now is actually pushing the medium. And the medium also challenges the new artist, because it actually has a great potential, and you have your cell phones that has the medium, so you can actually maybe For us, it's 30 seconds to or 3 hours to upload something. But you can actually have an exhibition with your network. Kasi yung networks ngayon, mas malaki na sa atin lahat, no? You can have an exhibition and show your network of friends, or your family, your artist, or your colleagues, anytime of the day. No? Maganda sa buhay ng artist, I think, is you get to non-stop yung learning mo. No? So even, minsan nga sinasabi ko, some of my students are really fantastic in terms of technical abilities, in terms of using all of those softwares. And sometimes, sabi ko sa kanila, hindi kailangan yung sobrang technical. Ang kailangan yung laman. Ang laman ng ginagawa mo, importante. Sa nakilala kong mamayang artist sa Bacolod, I always tell them, what are you doing? You're doing art because you think you're going to be rich. And hindi yan yung artist. Ang artist, ang importante yung mabenta mo yung idea mo. Hindi mabenta kasi kailangan mo ng pera. Ang idea mo, mabenta mo, that's it. So bahala na bahala na si Batman or ano. Pero yung once your idea gets accepted by yourself and then maybe your family and then your community, and then and once it gets accepted by the public, and then they get to understand, and then they get to relate, and then they absorb it and consume consume the ideas that you are actually sharing to them or trying to communicate to them. For the aspiring artist is to use that options actually for their purpose. No? Don't forget that you are an artist. Kasi you have the option to earn. Use that option to actually support what you love doing. So, mas marami, I think, pabayaan mo na lang yun, dito na lang ako. Diba? Dito na lang ako sa mas komportable. Kasi ito talagang uncomfortable eh. You earn here and then you just spend. You don't know kung business na side, you invest, hindi mo alam kung kailan yung babalik eh. So you have to relate yourself to what is really happening in a bigger picture. Kasi pag hindi mo alam, you're actually just akala mo okay na yung ginagawa mo.